Hello, everyone. This is Sharon with Entelechy Visions, and this is an energy update for the week of February 10th through February 16th. So, we are riding on the energizing full moon that occurred this past weekend in the sign of Leo. And this particular sign is all about very expansive expressions. So it may have felt like a very fiery energy over the weekend, and this will still ripple out in this coming week. This is inviting us to really step up to the show and to express ourselves in our fullness, to really be the center of the show and not to be afraid of that. And even if we are, to really allow ourselves to move towards what we want to share, what we want to express as part of our truth. This sign is also about creativity and passion and is very, very energizing. So you may have found that there's almost an added fuel to your step this week as we are refining the vision for our long-term plan. As we express our creative gifts and our authentic selves, this is adding towards this long-term plan and really letting us contribute more to what that means for all of us, what that means in your long-term goals, and how you see yourself maybe 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. As we express more of ourselves, this time period is also showing our wounding and what we're still working on. Because anytime we share more of who we are, there's a lot of vulnerability in that. There's a lot of insecurity that can arise and some doubt about what we are sharing and how that will be received by others, how that will be received by the world. And there can be some fears of judgment, because when we really stand in our truth and we face others with that, there is this questioning that can be found in that space, questioning our own beliefs or the delivery of how we are sharing our gifts. Because there's a lot going on in the world and there are a lot of opinions. So it may feel like a very tender space to share more of your vulnerable self and to share more of your truth out of that fear that you would be questioned or that you would not be accepted. So some self-consciousness may be arising as we are being more expressive, as we are stepping more into this fiery, expansive energy of our gifts. And this vulnerability of sharing our creations with others is very natural because it's part of the process. As you step up and you level up to more of who you are without the holding back from sharing that, this is part of it. So it's kind of like a balance between that outward expression and then allowing whatever arises in that vulnerable space as we do express. So thinking of this in terms of artwork or creativity or any kind of creation, at times when you are sharing something that you have created, maybe it's over time, maybe it's over many years that you have done this, as you present it or you share it in the world, it's a piece of your soul that you are sharing with others. So there is such a tender quality to that because it's a reflection, it's a mirror of who you truly are. And there is constructive criticism from others, but at times there can be a harsher sense of criticism. And this time is really inviting us to hold strong to our truth. Even if we feel swayed by others, even if we are questioned about what we're sharing, you're being called to share it for a reason. You're being called to offer this in the world. Otherwise, you wouldn't be moving toward it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be kind of nudged on a soul level to share this. So to really listen to that, to allow that to be the forefront, to allow that to be your guiding light. Anytime any kind of insecurities, any doubts, know that that is part of the process. So in these times of sharing and all that's arising in that space, it's important to know that as we share, we can also forge new connections with people. Because whenever we're vulnerable and we let down our guard and we share more of who we are, we invite the space to connect with other people even more. So there's a lot of benefit for standing in your truth. There's a lot of benefit for sharing more of who you are. We are also approaching the Mercury retrograde, which begins around the 16th of this month. And this is all part of this journey of facing more of our wounded selves as we are stepping up into more of these expressions. So just know that this is part of this process, and to invite a sense of embrace in the journey. I know Mercury retrograde can really be something that we don't always want to go through because it can be very inward, very introspective, and really allow us to address things. And we often feel more comfortable when we are in more of an action-oriented kind of energy. But in order to allow ourselves to embrace all that's coming up for us, it's an important period to integrate all of that. This will last until around March 9th. So know that we have a couple weeks of journeying into that world with this. So this week also brings up the theme of love, as this is part of this time of year and Valentine's Day. Whether you choose to honor that day or not, I personally feel that love should be celebrated every single day of the year. However, with this theme approaching, our hearts may be feeling excited. They may be feeling very expansive with all the new creations that we're getting inspired to share. But there's also that tender quality that's arising right now from our expressions. Our values and what we value with our connections with others are also beginning to deepen in our life. As we step more toward our truth, as we step more toward our authenticity, even in our relationships, we're anchoring in truly what we want from our partnerships. So this is a theme that's arising right now, and how that relates to who we have become now. Because a lot has taken shape and a lot has shifted even at the start of the new year. So you may feel very, very different, especially as you step up and you have that confidence to share more of who you are. That will also shift your connections in your life. So shifting your friendships, shifting your business partnerships, shifting your intimate partnerships. So all of these are kind of evolving and transforming just as you are evolving and transforming. So we may find that we need different things, or we have a different perspective on what is our long-term vision or ideal type of connection in terms of that. So we're learning more about what brings us passion, what brings us pleasure in our lives, and really not being afraid to speak up about it or to acknowledge it within ourselves. So not really having the fear to share more of that in all areas of our life. This Valentine's Day is very nurturing also. So this allows us some time to be very comforting, being very cozy, And if it's not with another person, then with yourself, to really support what you need, to feel comforted, to feel nurtured. Not just that day, but a good reminder to do that always. And to allow this week to inspire that, of what you need to feel your most radiant self, or to feel comforted, to feel loved, giving yourself that own nurturing, that own care. So maybe you stay in that night. Maybe there is a salt bath. Maybe there is some rest, some creativity, a hobby that you're tending to. All kinds of things that you can share and really tend to this week that will remind you of how much that you are loved, not only from yourself, but in connection with others. So I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. If you need additional support, I offer remote sessions or in-person sessions, and you can learn more at entelechyvisions.com. If you're enjoying this content, I invite you to like and subscribe to this channel, as it does help to support the channel. I hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you for listening.